Hey guys, it's Bastion time. So this episode is going to be a little bit different than the usual ones. Usually I have a list of specific stories that I want to talk about one by one. And usually that's because there's like a specific Wii U rumor or something from some developer that they've said about the Wii U or you know, whatever. But because we just had E3 happen recently, and now we know a whole lot of definitive facts, and I still got those up in my brain, no point in really doing that. I'll just kind of ramble to you about what happened regarding Nintendo at E3. So first of all, one of the main things is that they've announced that along with the Wii U, there's going to be a game on launch day called Nintendo Land. And Nintendo Land is kind of analogous to Wii Sports for the Wii. You'll remember that when you first purchased your Wii, Wii Sports came with it, and Wii Sports just kind of showed you various different ways you can use the Wii Motion control system, right? This is not sports-oriented, it's basically a collection of mini-games, and each one is based on a specific Nintendo franchise. There's a Luigi's Mansion one where they're all multiplayer, so you're hunting ghosts together, and in each one of these, it makes a big point out of using the Wii tablet thing known as the gamepad in one specific way that is different to the other players who are using Wii Motion Plus controls. So for instance, in the Zelda one, it's called Battle Quest. In that, the person with the Wii U gamepad is the archer. The other two people playing along with you are swordsmen, and so they've got the Wii Motion Plus to do sword swipes like in Skyward Sword or the fencing game in Wii Sports Resort. But in any case, so each of these games is trying to show you a different way that the Wii U gamepad can be used that's different from the Wii Motion Plus type controls. Looks really interesting. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Nintendo also announced that at launch there's going to be a brand new Mario game, of course, and it's going to be called New Super Mario Bros. U. And so last year at E3 they showed us a what-if scenario type game just to kind of show off the Wii U, and it was called New Super Mario Bros. Me. And the whole point behind it was that instead of just generic yellow and blue toads, you could have your Mii character in the game, and that's pretty awesome. It turns out that despite what they were saying at the time, that was an actual factual game that they planned on releasing, and they just changed the name slightly. And still, your Miis can be used in it, and as well as playing Mario or Luigi. I don't remember. I think the toads, the blue and yellow toads, can be used as well. And so this game looks pretty awesome. The reason why I'm so excited to play it is several reasons. One being that it brings a brand new power-up, which is a squirrel suit. So you get this acorn that lets you turn into a flying squirrel, and that lets you kind of hover. Or sort of, I can't figure out what this motion is called, but it's like when a leaf is falling down. You know, you kind of slowly drift back and forth, and that looks like a lot of fun. What is also kind of interesting about it is it allows 5 players. So, I mean, those of us who have played New Super Mario Bros. Wii know that 4 players is a lot going on, but an additional 5th player, even more exciting. So the 5th player is actually not playing along as a character, but they're using the Wii U gamepad to create blocks. They tap on the screen, their screen blocks, which will appear for all of the other characters, and you can use these to climb up to higher places, save you from falling into pits, things like that. That looks like a lot of fun. Also, they can tap enemies on their screen, and that will distract the enemies on your screen for a little bit. So that looks like a lot of fun. A slightly different team, but headed by the same director, is creating New Super Mario Bros. 2. And that's for the 3DS. And you might say, well, hey, it looks just like New Super Mario Bros. U. Are they the same game? And it turns out the answer is absolutely no. They're completely different games, but yeah, they're in the same sub-series, New Super Mario Bros., and all of those games have a certain look about them. And frankly, I'm a huge fan of these games. I love side-scrolling Mario games. I love this particular sub-series because it kind of brings Mario back to his original roots, and I'm a nostalgist, I gotta say, I love it. In New Super Mario Bros. 2, the leaf that you touch that causes you to grow a raccoon tail makes a return, and then, not only that, but the pea meter makes a return. That sounds really gross. You sort of run back and forth and you build up your ability to fly. And it's just all kinds of awesome nostalgia from my childhood, and I can't believe we get a new game to do that in. Because as much as I love Super Mario 3D Land, I wanted to be able to fly in it, and you couldn't. But now, in New Super Mario Bros. 2, you can, and that's coming out so super soon. I think they said August something, so really stoked. So back to the Wii U for a bit. They confirmed several things at E3, things that had been rumored, but we didn't know with absolute certainty were the truth. Things like the fact that, yes, you will be able to use 2 gamepads. For the longest time, all of the naysayers were saying, no, they're only going to let you do 1, and that's, stupid, blah, 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 blah. But no, Nintendo says you'll absolutely be able to use 2 gamepads. What they're doing at launch is developing a lot of games that only require 1 gamepad, because while it's true that technically you can use 2, it's going to slow the frame rate from 60 down to 30 if 2 are being used at the same time. So they're actually working on figuring out a way to overcome that issue. But frankly, even if they don't overcome that issue, 60 to 30 is not that big of a deal. I mean, 30 is just fine for the average person, so I wouldn't mind whatsoever if they just left it at that. If they do solve it, though, all the better. But yeah, it is true that obviously using 2 of those gamepads at once is definitely going to take up a lot of resources, so I'm glad to hear that they're working to fix that. So also, at launch, the Wii U is definitely going to have an eShop of sorts. I don't know if we know exactly what they're going to be calling it for the Wii U. They have a tendency to change the name for each console for some reason, but it will have an eShop at launch. We don't know exactly what games will be available on the eShop except for New Super Mario Bros. U, which they've said is going to be available both as a physical disc and downloadable from the eShop, so that's pretty awesome. They announced a lot of other third-party games. One called Zombie U, that's like a horror survival game. And then also a Castlevania game that looks pretty awesome. And several others. So that's it for this week in Nintendo news. Coming up very soon, I don't know why I'm pointing because there's not going to be anything there, but coming up very soon is a video that I said I was going to put out last week, but E3 and all kinds of other things, a housewarming party and all kinds of stuff filled up my week, so I wasn't able to do it, but it's kind of like a question and answer, get to know Bastion kind of video, and that will be up in just a couple days, so watch that if you want, and don't watch it if you don't want, and I'll see you guys next week for Nintendo News. Bye!